the white rook in the corner. They might never move. Wow, this has just been brutal. This is going to go in books for sure. What not to do in the opening end. The handshake. Hikaru resigns. Vidit takes the win.
He doesn't just take the win. Vidit Gujrathi is our leader in the candidates. I know it's early, and you see him and Hikaru Nakamura talking. Hikaru is just like, what was I thinking? But I know what Vidit Gujrathi is thinking. Bishop b6 was just played, so he's not even giving Hikaru a chance to get back in the game.
No, he's doing it in style. Let's face it. I mean, but in every tournament you have a game like that. I remember back in the 2018 Berlin candidates, there was a game between Aranyan and Kramnik, where Aranya and Kramnik did not castle. It was Spanish, and White played innocently just a move h3 before Black castled, and then Rook g8, g5, g4, and it was like a storm. I have this very similar feeling to that game, that simply, White couldn't get into the game. And you can see Hikaru's reaction that actually game is over completely. Zero chance to save it.
He realizes now he's been hit by the storm and there's no reply.
It's really important for players to have a second that makes them feel as relaxed as possible. You don't want somebody who will, heighten the temper, make it so that you're riled up. You really need to focus on the chess when you get to the board, and seconds take care of all of the stuff away from the board. Of course, the players themselves, they look through the openings, they ask questions, they have a huge footprint on what openings are played. But I know in my experience working with players, they want to have a relaxed atmosphere.
It was during the Bucharest tournament, the Grand Chess Tour in Bucharest, and we were at breakfast. I just asked him, hey, look, it seems like everybody wants content in the chess world. Things are changing. So why don't we give you a voice as well as one of the leading players in the world? Let's start a podcast. And he really liked the idea, and that's basically how it came to be.
And it's going very well. And finally, if Fabi manages to win the tournament, we only have to go about 5 meters for the cocktail bar, by the way, on Queen Street. What is his drink of choice? What will you be buying him if he qualifies for his second world championship?
He's not a big drinker himself, but I would say when he does, I believe it's an old-fashioned. So I'm going to get him an old-fashioned.
Classic drink for a classy guy. There we have it. Grandmaster Chris and Chirila on the streets of Toronto.
Yeah, there is just absolute, I don't even know how to describe it. That Vidit 2.0, that confidence, that he just goes for it. I feel like he used to be more timid as a player, and here he's even bopping his head. So he's feeling the rhythm, and I think knight f1 is going to happen.
Surely handshake any moment now. No resistance left available to Hikaru. This is a discovered check and a devastating fork next. And this white knight, the white rook in the corner, they might never move. Wow, this has just been brutal. This is going to go in books for sure. What not to do in the opening end. The handshake. Hikaru resigns. Vidit takes the win.
He doesn't just take the win. Vidit Gujrathi is our leader in the candidates. I know it's early, and you see him and Hikaru Nakamura talking. Hikaru is just like, what was I thinking?
We've seen so many great games so far. I mean, all the games like Gukesh and Pragnananda, you can't say Pragnananda played so badly and gave away the point, right? Or we cannot say in this game also that Alireza played so badly that he was just crushed. I mean, he gave so many interesting moves, so many interesting ideas to this game. It's the only thing that we see fantastic players playing against each other. So the battle is going in a very interesting way and very entertaining also for the audience. But of course, for the player who is losing, it's a rough day.
And we see Jan Nepomsky. He's definitely not losing here. He wins the game. There's the handshake. It is over. Jan Nepomsky joins a 4-way tie for first place after 2 rounds. Day 1 was peaceful. All 8 players drew. Here in round 2, 4 players win, 4 players suffer defeat.
So let's see, if Anna finds h6, this is a grandmaster moment. I would say it's so difficult to play that, really so difficult. And afterwards, anything else, she will be a big problem. Anything else, if you go the queen to e8 here now, then we have queen d6, we have knight d5, and we could actually, we go here, knight b4, and we will actually, we can go f6. No, we can't. We are losing a piece here. I have no idea after e4. And she played h6. This was the grandmaster move. And Anna played it. She played h6. And I think this is so beautiful. Anna played h6. This is absolutely the best move. And I have seen this in lots of middle game, that Anna has played the brilliant move, the best move, and this was actually the only move to stay, I would say, really to stay in the game, to go h6. She needs to get her pieces to activity.
But he just didn't really follow it up in any sort of, bishop b6 was just played, so he's not even giving Hikaru a chance to get back in the game.
No, he's doing it in style, let's face it. I mean, but in every tournament you have a game like that. I remember back in the 2018 Berlin candidates, there was a game between Aranyan and Kramnik, where Aranyan and Kramnik did not castle. It was Spanish, and White played innocently just a move h3 before Black castled, and then Rook g8, g5, g4, and it was like a storm. I have this very similar feeling to that game, that simply, White couldn't get into the game. And you can see Hikaru's reaction that actually game is over completely. Zero chance to save it.
He realizes now he's been hit by
the king is going to go to g7 or g8. It's not so relevant where. And then knight takes e7 will happen, and then and then g takes f6 happen. And we have a resignation.
Yes, so Tang Zhongyi gets off to a blistering start, 2 points out of 2. Very convincing win against the talented Vaishali.
Per side, so that game will continue. Whereas this one, I mean, Gukesh, he is thinking he's down under 2 minutes, but Prague is down to 41 seconds himself. If we note that the time is not on Prague's side, but he is trying to go after the Black King. So David, the rook took on f2. Do we think that after the king gets out of dodge, anything can go wrong for Gukesh? I'm just not seeing it.
I don't see it. It feels like discover checks are a big issue here, but also a big threat of rook back to f5, hitting the white queen, hitting the white knight. It's collapsed. I think this is the last few moves of this game. I don't think Prague will even reach move 40. Just lost control. Great competition. And ultimately, it came down to having no time and handshake. It is Gukesh who wins the battle of the youngsters.
That was a deserved victory for Gukesh. He wins with the black pieces. So our second game won by a player with the black pieces. He joins his compatriot Vidit Gujrathi